Hello, my name is Miracle Lawrence, and in this video, I will be demonstrating my movie rental tracker API project. This project was built using Node.js, Express.js, MongoDB, Mongoose, Passport.js, GitHub authentication, and Swagger UI documentation. The goal of the application is to manage a movie rental business through a REST API. Currently, the project contains just three collections, which are the users collection, the rented movies, and movie information. The remaining two collections will be added in the part two of this project. Let me begin by showing the project structure. The project is organized into separate folders. As you can see, you have the config folder, which contains the database code, and the passport.js, which carries the GitHub authentication code. You have the controllers folder, the errors folder, middleware, models, the roots. Inside the models folder, I created Mongoose schemas for users, as you can see here, movies information, rented movies as well. Each collection contains more than 7 fields and includes validation rules to ensure data integrity. For example, in the users collection here, the user collection validates fields such as first name, last name, email, phone, address, membership type, and date joined. I will be showing this validation playing out using the Swagger UI interface. Next, I will demonstrate the API documentation using Swagger UI. Swagger provides interactive documentation for all endpoints. Each collection includes the following CRUD operations: get by ID, post, put, and delete. Get to retrieve all users, post to create a new user, get by ID to get a user by a particular ID, put to update an existing user by ID, and then delete to delete a user using same ID. The post, put, and delete routes are protected using GitHub authentication. This ensures that only authenticated users can modify data. To demonstrate authentication, I can navigate to the GitHub login route and authenticate using my GitHub account. Once authenticated, I gain access to the protected endpoints. Now I'm going to test the user API route. So I'll first of all do the general route, which is the get route. Once I execute, it returns an empty script, an empty list, meaning there's nothing in the database. And when I go to posts and I want to try that out, I have a sample data here. Now take note that this is a protected route, so I can only create a new user if I have access to this route. So if you notice when we executed, it says unauthorized. Please log in with GitHub. So I don't have access to perform these kinds of operations unless I am logged in. So to log in, I'm going to use the same URL, but this time with the authentication GitHub. So I'm going to run this URL and this should log me in. Yeah, so I'm logged in now with GitHub. So when I try to do the same thing, which is to create a new user, let's try it out now and execute. That works successfully. So it returns a status code of 201, meaning that the user has been created successfully. So I'm just going to copy that user ID so I can use it to test other route. Let's get the user by ID. I'll paste that ID here and execute. It returns that user. I want to modify that existing user. I'm going to paste, and let's say I'm changing Lawrence to Lore, and then execute. That works fine. Now I want to try out the validation for each of this. So I'm just going to try out email. I'll remove the at here and see if I can update that. And you see that the validation middleware works fine. It says failed to update user because the validation failed. The email has to be a valid email. So that will not work unless that email is a valid one. So let's get that right and it works fine. Okay. So lastly, I'm going to delete that data that we created and execute. You see, user has been deleted successfully. So the user collection or the user API route works just fine. Lastly, I'm going to demonstrate the rented movies API. If I get all rented movies in the database. It returns fine an empty list because there's no movie in the database. Now let's create a rented movie record. I have a sample here, so I'm going to try it out. And once I hit the execute button, it works fine because I'm already logged into the system. Remember, we're logged in using our GitHub authentication or our GitHub info. So okay, let me check if that has been added to the database. Oh, of course. Yes, it is in the database. So I'm just going to copy this ID real quick because I will be using it to get my ID. Let's test this. Paste the ID here and execute. It works fine. It returns the data in the database. Now I want to modify that movie in the database. I'll use that ID. Now, let's say I want to change the amount to 1800. Once I execute, that works fine. Let's test the validation. What if I change the amount to a letter and execute? This should be an error. So unexpected token N. So it returns a false success. It didn't work. Why? Because this is not valid for an amount. So it means that we need to change this into a figure. So I'm changing that back and I'm running, and that works fine. Times the status code of 200. And lastly, let's test the delete. When we try that out, you see rental deleted successfully. So that works fine. If you check the rental collection, the database again, you should see an empty string because we just deleted it. So thank you for your attention.